What's up, guys? Craig Mack here, and Logan, Liberty Bell Beekeeper. So, out here today, was out here, I don't know, a week and a half or so ago to take a look at a cutout. What we got up here is a hole in the cinder block next to this bracket, and the bees have set up shop there. This colony seems to have overwintered here. They had bees at the end of the year last year. They didn't notice them. I think they moved in last spring, and they've been here ever since. Now, this is a challenging cutout because we're dealing with cinder block, and the colony is basically running right behind that side of the bracket. So unfortunately, I can't do this removal from outside. I got to go in. And of course, as I'm shooting this video, the compressor's running, so let me pause it and I'll be right back. So here's the situation inside. So there's our brackets for that air conditioner unit outside. Line sets coming in right there. We also got the power going outside up there. So as we go ahead and take a look in our thermal imager, as you can see, this colony is long and tall, and I think it's gotten even, it looks to be, I've gotten a little bit bigger since I was here last, went a little bit taller towards the ceiling, so this ought to be a treat. So we're going to basically cut down this brick, this section of brick, because I believe they're in both sides of this. And I'm hoping that they haven't expanded too much further left or right, so we can just do that one column. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is cut part of that bracket to get out of my way, but I'm going to see if I can't leave it in place. But I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so we're up on our scaffolding. We started making some cuts. Now I'll show you what I did here. So we had this piece of strut here, which is holding the bracket. It's the bracket for the HVAC condenser outside. So this side, I just took that and I cut it so I could then spin this bracket and grab cinder block that I'm not going to disturb. And I'm able to then remove the center one, and I can kind of bop around. And this one, you can see it's grabbing on both sides past my cut. And again, once I get past here, I can replace the one below it and go on from there. So I was reading heat all the way down into this chamber down here, which we can't see. But 2 blocks up, there are definitely bees. Definitely bees. And you can see them in the bolt hole here. So there's definitely a column of bees. Now I don't know whether or not they're in these other bricks or not. I'm hoping that they're just in this one. But it was kicking off a good heat signature, so I want to make sure that I'm getting all of them. Okay, so I got this opened up, at least 1 block, and as you can see, I got bees down, some comb down. This looks like to be all drone brood. This down here, but right there, queen cells. So we had the owner of the company said that they think that this swarmed on Wednesday. They had a bunch of bees in the shop here. They opened the doors, they all went flying out. So looks like we're dealing with a queenless colony, but we should have some cells. So hopefully we'll be able to get those cells out safely. I'm probably going to cut them and remove them and isolate them on their own, and we can maybe, if we get enough of them, we could potentially split this colony up into some 2-frame nucs. So you can see I got bees up here, and the bees, as far as I know, they're all the way up, or a good portion of the way there. And I'm thinking most of this down here, the last few blocks, is just wax, maybe some honey, maybe some drone brood. I don't really know. There's some drone brood there that was ripped open. Here's some drones being born. And some bees being covered in dust. So not a whole lot of bees down here yet. The bulk of the heat signature is up here at the top. We'll check back. So as I look back here a little bit further, you can see that queen cell is open. Looks like we had a virgin emerge. So I'm going to have to keep an eye out for a virgin queen in here. And perhaps if I can salvage a couple of those cells, if there are any left, before they destroy them all. Okay.
Rolling.
Rolling. See, look, we might be able to extract this from this hole, not have to cut open anymore at the bottom, but something tells me we're not going to get that lucky. So they're basically the shape of that cinder block, the shape of that cavity. They're zigzagging back and forth, and it probably does that same thing up and down this whole expanse. And again, I think I have a virgin queen in here, so I've got to be real careful when I'm doing the bee vac work. Because for those of you that don't know, virgin queens are not always easy to spot. You can see the bee vac does a nice job of gently pulling the bees, and I can adjust the suction. If I find it's too aggressive. Did you just move that?
No, I made sure I didn't.
You might have been leaning on it, that's why it's a little bit more powerful. But anyway, I can just gently scoop and remove the bees safely with relative ease. Most of these are nurse bees anyway, because they don't fly yet. And they're not quite as strong. Pretty wild, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We might have to try eating some of this.
That's funny.
Bruce said it was, he said it tasted like buttery steak.
I don't know.
People all over the world eat that stuff. You're leaning against that. When you lean against there, you're all in all, they're pretty docile considering they just swarmed and we're basically jackhammering into their home. But it is a nice day here in Philly. Temps going up in the mid-60s, I think. Plenty of sun. That's amazing, isn't it? That's so cool that they built that way. Diagonally, they got 2 or 3 of them in there. Pretty awesome. Just trying to remove some of those bees so I can safely remove it. And you know what? That looks like that's the end of our new comb. I think I'm seeing some comb that's down, but I'll take a better look with the endoscope in a moment. Right now, this is all drone brood. Okay, so there's some bees. One thing about looking for virgin queens is that oftentimes you can find them just by how frantically they're running around. They tend to be pretty active, getting themselves out into the colony to make sure everyone knows that she's there and she's the one. Now we could have had one of those virgin queens leave with the swarm, which does happen at times, and you end up with a multiple queen swarm. I don't know if this colony swarmed this year. I think they could have, and the second might have been this cast swarm. These small hive beetles, even in a brick wall. Or a block wall, I should say. Okay, stop the video. So that looks like to be the end of our wax. Fortunately, but we've only just begun. I have the light on. Okay. So we opened this up, and as you can see, we got a couple more entry holes that we couldn't see from outside. Well, one at least. It looks like they get around the bolt hole too. And we're going to just continue up. Now, a lot of guys might open this whole cavity up first. I'm trying to eliminate the number of bees as I go and keep them, all where I can see them. But I just find it might be a little bit easier to work my way up this way instead of opening this whole thing up. Although I'm thinking about opening the rest of it up right now, and that way we can see the remainder of the brood chamber and kind of go from there. But so far, you can probably see, this colony has been here because they started to purplize all these walls. Pretty cool. Okay, so we were getting into the brood comb here, and from this side, I saw the queen cell, and then from this side, you can see that it's started to be opened up. I'm not sure if the workers were doing that or if she was emerging, because normally I would say that is because of the workers, and maybe the queen just didn't get to this bee yet. So I'm going to do a little minor surgery here and see if we can't get this queen in a cage, because she still looks alive to me. Happy birthday, lady. Come on. All right. Hello. Now this queen would be really difficult to spot because she's colored the same as the other bees.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get her to just walk into this, maybe. We don't want to damage her. There she goes. Oh, go ahead. Almost.
Do you have the fork?
It was sitting right there.
Oh no. Oh, there it is. Oh, should I stop recording?
No, you can keep recording.
Okay.
Oftentimes, if you get her in your hand, you can sit your queen cage in between your thumb and your forefingers, and as long as you're not crushing her, oftentimes she'll climb up and into the cage because there's nowhere else to go. But she's new, literally just born.
She's one of the other ones. One of the clasping ones would be better.
Well, I want her in this permanently.
Oh.
Clips are just temporary. There she goes.
Fork.
Hang on. Give me a little bit of light, because I want to grab a couple of workers, a couple of nurse bees. Just grabbing them by the wings, and putting their head in the door, just giving them a little push.
How many are you gonna grab?
3. Oh, that one stung me, so that one will be dead. Two it is. See?
Yeah.
So there's our one queen.
Should I stop recording?
Yeah.